Hello you lot, Miller Corner here and welcome to a gorgeous, if slightly chilly, Newcastle upon Tyne with my beautiful new Mercedes W123. I picked this up yesterday from the WB & Sons auction house where I bought this car. Highly recommended, by the way. We work with them all the time on Classics World. They're amazing. And now I've got to drive home. I live down on the south coast in Kent, which is 340 miles from where I find myself today. So this car, with its famed reputation for reliability, should get me there no problem at all. But I've only driven this car about 5 miles in total so far, including a quick run around the block last night. Went and got some delicious Lebanese food. This is quite a big test for this car. I've got every faith in it, but first we need to fire it up and then get on the road. Well, last night when it was freezing cold, we had to jump start this car because the battery that's in it is obviously way too small for it. Not to mention the cold snap overnight has probably not done it the world of good. And when I go to start it this morning, we got lights, we got gauges, but oh. We've got a little bit of belt squeal, but okay, she's come to life. That's very bizarre. It literally, I just cranked it over 2 or 3 times and it wouldn't fire. So now she's, no, she's fine now. Squealing's calming down. Okay, this car's already proving to be characterful. It is now running. Let's get on the road. So here we go then. Rolling out onto the road in the mighty Merc. That cold start thing was a little bit confusing, to be honest. I know this car has got a battery way too small for it. It's like half the size of the tray it's sitting in, and it did need jump starting after being out in the cold yesterday. But I kind of hoped it would hold it. For the first couple of cranks this morning, it didn't. It was just acting like a totally flat battery. It did almost nothing. Then the third crank, when I turned the camera on to show you, it just works. I did speak to Matt from Furious Driving before doing this trip, because he's got a W123 and he loved it, and he did warn that this car might develop some character along the way, and on early impressions he's absolutely right. But character good and bad, because I love a 123. It's just such a charming old bus. I've wanted one for ages. It was pretty much the first car that I drove in my Classics World job that I walked away from thinking, I want to keep this. And I decided from then on that one day I had to own an old Merc of some sort, whether it was a 123 or a 190 or whatever. But when this one came up at auction and looked to be a good car for the right money, and crucially was a lot cheaper than an equivalent diesel, because people seem to really highly prize the diesel cars, I decided I had to go for it. And now we're going to put it to the test on a 340 mile road trip. So I'm going to work her a little bit up to speed here. That's about 50. The manual gearbox in these is an odd one. It just feels a little bit, it's very mechanical, it's quite chunky. There's not much ability to wobble in neutral. It's very sort of a mechanical feel to it. And you know what? She feels really smooth. There's no vibrations, it's not noisy. This ultra vague box steering is just fantastic. One of the defining characteristics of this car. And the high driving position and these springy bus seats, it's such a charming thing, this. Already I'm loving it. And you know what, it really doesn't feel underpowered either. When you think that my daily driver is a brand new Mini with 150 odd horsepower, and that one car has got very nearly as much power as the Super Seicento and the W123 put together. So that tells you I've got a taste for low powered cars. But that said, I have spent the last few months living with a 400 horsepower supercharged Jag XKR, so I've had my fix of V8 power, and now it's just time to waft, I think. It's a beautiful day. I've got 343 miles to go, so I'll settle into the cruise. I'll speak to you soon. So we're just over 60 miles into the trip, 284 still to go until we get home, and I thought I'd give my first update on the Merc. I'm loving it. It's such a fantastic wafter. It just cruises along, barely a murmur, 70 miles an hour. It is so smooth and relaxing. My car, because it's a post-81, had the option of a 5-speed manual gearbox, and the original owner of this car ticked the 5-speed option, and that means it's so calmed down when you're at this kind of speed. 3,000 revs at 70, quiet exhaust, so smooth, it's fantastic. There are a couple of little things criping up that I just know that I will need to get on top of. First of all is the cigarette light motor. It's okay, it mostly works if you wiggle it and jiggle it, but it's not consistent. So I've managed to get my sat nav to plug in and charge, but it's not as quick and easy as I'd like. But it doesn't look the cleanest or the least corroded in there, so I think a little bit of wire wool should clean that up and get that working properly. If not, just replace it. There's a little bit of a vibration and a noise, sort of a whoa, 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 which I'm going to go with being a wheel bearing, or potentially a wheel out of balance. I think the driver's door seal is going to need replacing. It's got a couple of cracks and splits in it, and the wind noise is not appalling, but it's more than it is from any of the other doors, so I do think the driver's door seal might need sorting at some point. And the radio, it's a Mercedes one. I don't know if it's original to this car. It's a CD one, which would suggest it's probably out of a later Merc, like a 124 or a 210. I've had it on scan for about 5 minutes and it's not yet found a station. It keeps occasionally picking up a bit of Radio 4, but I'm not quite that old yet, so I'll keep trying, keep scanning. I have got a retro-looking Bluetooth unit that I've been keeping on the shelf for a rainy day, and I think this car could be the perfect one for it. But other than that, it's cruising nicely, it's smooth, it's comfortable, seems to be doing well on fuel, and I'm loving it. I'm just reminded why I love these cars and how much I love them.
Consider me, consider yourself. I love you and no one else. I keep loving you in spite of myself. Gee, baby, what in the world am I gonna do?
Well, 175 miles done so far. The car is very much game for the rest, but my bladder is not. So let's click the old girl off for a minute, give her a bit of a rest, put on my handbrake, a literal handle, quick rest, and then back on the move. This car's so good. Oh, yes. Looks so bloody good, doesn't it? I'm loving this car. Gorgeous. Gorgeous light. Gorgeous Mercedes. Oh, yes. Right, back on the road. Woo! Right. My child-sized bladder has been attended to, and now fire the old girl up. And so quiet you wouldn't even know it's running. Just unbelievable. That is proper German engineering. So smooth. This chunky manual gear change. Let this couple across. The bloke kept looking. Everyone loves the W123. I think that's the other thing I've noticed with this car. Everyone except Tesla owners apparently, you just pull out on you. Well, no change there. That's one thing I have noticed driving this car on the motorway, is you do get people looking at it, because obviously it's an old car and it's bright white and it's shiny and so on. Mostly shiny, it's a bit dirty now. And pretty much no matter what type of person they are, whether it's young or old, or men or women, or children, or whatever, you get looks in this car. People love it. It's just such a charming old thing. I've had a lorry driver come past and give me a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. Even if you're not into German cars, W123s just seem to resonate with people. And that's one of the things, they resonate with me enormously. I'm not really into German cars. As you know, I prefer my Italian stuff and kind of my Britishy stuff as well, Rovers and Jags and so on. But this, for me, is just the king. It's a fantastic machine, and this one is proving to be a fantastic specimen. It's just so smooth and well kept. The original owner, and indeed the previous owner, who spent a lot of time and money on it by the look of it, credit to you, because this is a glorious machine. Back out onto the A1 for the rest of our 178 miles to go until we get home. And you know what? This car is going to eat it. Onwards! tweet out this morning before I started my journey saying, will this car get me the 340 miles home? And I've had dozens and dozens of comments of people saying, of course it will get you around the world and still get you back safely. And on a long distance drive like this, you really do get a feel for that unburstable quality that W123s are known for. It just feels like it could do this forever. So we've got 53 miles to go now until I get back to where I live with my girlfriend in Kent. Exactly an hour to go, says the sat nav, and touch wood, and I have got some wood in here. The 123 is absolutely taking it in its stride. Falling in love with this car already. Well, it's been a long old trip. I think the old girl deserves a drink. So there we have it then. I bought a Mercedes W123 in Newcastle, drove it 354 miles home, and I have fallen stone cold in love with it. It's just been a fantastic car to cruise in, super comfortable, really relaxing, really smooth. And to top it all off, on that 350 mile drive home, this car averaged, remember this is a 40-year-old carburetted 2-litre petrol engine driving a big heavy barge, 33.7 miles to the gallon, which is no way shabby, I reckon. Yes, we're running it on E5, don't worry, I look after cars. But anyway, I've got a 123 in my life and I could not be happier. Stay tuned to see the improvements on it, and then a few plans I've got for adventures with it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you soon, and have a good one. Ooh, I certainly will.